嚟啦，埋嚟睇下啦，喂，有乜嘢咁巴閉？放個10日之假，嚟啦，埋嚟聽下啦，喂，城市有太多的變化。
First of all, universities are where a lot of young people congregate and where we have a lot of intellectual capital. So if you have young people who are going to identify problems and then look for the solutions, very often these solutions are in universities. But then there's the challenge of the last mile. How do you package that intellectual capital and use it as a solution for the social problems that we identify? I think it's wonderful, and I think universities have a very unique role to play. So I'm really happy that PolyU, particularly the design school, with the funding from Jockey Club, which shares a lot of the same aspirations as trying to solve social challenges, that we have this design school, because design is also a very good area to integrate different streams of academic pursuit and then integrate, package, and offer solutions. So I think this is probably the most exciting area for universities to engage in.
學生其實係一個種子嚟嘅，我覺得。而你點樣去將呢個種子去發芽呢？其實係要透過好多唔同嘅栽培啊，亦都去透過好多唔同嘅機會俾到佢哋。所以我覺得，如果係一個大學嚟講，如果真係有呢啲咁多嘅 opportunity 可以引導佢哋，令到佢哋可以見識到更加多啲嘅社會創新嘅項目嘅話呢，對於香港或者個 social innovation 嘅發展呢，其實係一定嘅幫助。
Well, if you look at the world as a whole, Asia is where everyone is, basically. Right now, Hong Kong has a particular spotlight, not just through, let's say, the political situation, but also because Hong Kong is the example of China and the rest of the world. So this is the example for Hong Kong to shine and show the world what social innovation can be. It's a hotpot for both the problems, social issues and problems in the world, as well as potential solutions.
I used to live here in Hong Kong for around 2 years. It's this kind of city for superheroes, the kind of place where you realize that everything is possible. A place that is very sophisticated, with good technology, with economical power in order for you to create and dream in whatever you want. So the role of Hong Kong is to allow people and bring them together in order for all of us to come to a place like the Asian Consortium and get crazy, speaking about different ideas and bring them together to life. So Hong Kong is this hub, is this leader that is going to bring us all together towards to better innovation for humanity.
我相信呢，在亚洲未来的这个10年左右，应该会有非常大的社会形态的转变。因为从香港也好，大陆也好，香港正好是在这个 hub 这个中间。我想呢，香港可以代表亚洲的现代的都市的生活的一种形态。
I think the role is actually very important. So we put our students, we challenge them, we ask them to think about ways on how they can participate on sort of some of the social innovation projects that we actually do at the center. So every project that we do, we always try to incorporate the faculty members and then also the student involvement from doing research. They actually go out to the field, they'll interview some participants. So yeah, so they learn a lot more than just sitting in the classroom and then sort of getting a passive information.
我寧願呢啲學生推動，咁啊啲教授啊或者學校啊支持住，等佢哋帶行呢條路。好多新嘢出嚟咧，你要學生要諗到嘅，咁你揾教授嚟幫手咯，係咪？唔係我哋噶啦，唔係調翻轉頭噶啦，你學生應該 lead 嗰個 narrative， 我哋叫做你決定邊方面行，譬如 democracy 咁，你肯做，諗下咯，一啲就新路行出嚟㗎。唔使行舊路嘅，咩嚟咧？咁點知啫？係咪？要諗啊嘛。
One, we are very close here in Asia to the areas where the world's most intractable problems are actually presenting themselves at the highest levels and with the largest portion of our population. So the issues are large and looming and near here in Asia. And then in Asia, we have a tradition of tremendously powerful technological and design thinking and training. So if we take the greatest brain power that can solve the problems and we put it closest to where the most seemingly intractable problems exist, the opportunity for innovation is truly explosive.
Universities have such an important role around social innovation and social development, and they always have. I think what's new and is emerging is that universities are seeing two things. One is that they have a critical role to connect up civil society, the public sector, and business in achieving social impact. The second, as we think about social development and social innovation, is that young people around the world are increasingly interested in this, increasingly saying that's what they want to do with their lives. And universities can channel those young people towards opportunities that really help them achieve that social impact.
香港理工大學其實大家都知道喺市中心啦，咁就一向同個社區或者個市場其實特別貼近，我哋亦都有呢個傳統，所以我哋特別去注重去鼓勵我哋學生嘅同學咧去做多啲應用嘅研究同埋服務學習嘅。咁其實今次一個好有趣嘅例子就係我哋賽馬會社會創新設計院咧做呢個關於九龍東嘅項目咧，其實就係一個真係落區嘅一個項目嚟嘅。其實我哋呢次個項目嘅目標咧，就係希望幫呢個唔止係政府啦，亦都係幫成個社會咧，喺呢個新嘅商業中心嗰度咧，由一個工業區轉化變成一個商貿區嘅時候咧，點樣可以揾到一啲另類有創意嘅方法，可以改善到個社區。咁啲同學其實諗住一個好有趣嘅一個主意，就係用呢個後巷，其中就係將36條嘅後巷咧，重組變成18條。咁就用咗一個名字叫做觀塘18同人。
咁首先我哋就揀咗4條後巷去做 trials。我哋想用嘅一個visual style 咧，就係用 graffiti 嘅。咁所以我哋就會將嗰啲 illustration 咧擺上個牆上面咁樣。咁但係我哋又唔可以犯法直接噴上個牆度啦。咁我哋就開始諗下有冇啲可以removable 嘅方法。咁我哋最後咧就用啲白膠漿開水，跟住然之後咧將啲好薄嘅紙畫咗個圖案上去之後咧，就黐上去牆上面。
咁我其實就係負責 production 嗰一部分嘅，咁我就佢哋俾咗啲稿我之後，我就會去整一啲 stencil 嘅模啦，跟住就負責噴上啲紙度咁樣。咁之後開頭嘅時候我哋噴佢哋會覺得奇怪啊，啲人會周圍望啊咁樣嘅。咁但係到真正去 publish 嗰一日咧，反而收到都幾好嘅回應咯，即係佢哋會覺得喂你我哋改下街名啊，搞一啲新意思喺呢一個區入邊，佢哋會覺得幾新鮮咯。因為佢哋反映可能日常生活喺個工廠入邊好悶，日日都係咁樣做，咁但係反而我哋有咗呢個活動之後，佢哋可能會留意多咗一個區，或者對於以前嘅一啲工業文化嘅多咗一啲認識咯。
基本上個成績都幾鼓舞嘅，睇到佢哋係覺得係即係持開放態度同埋正面嘅。咁但係佢哋亦都認為政府係應該，如果喺啲舊區度可以做多啲呢一類型嘅事務咧，我哋下一代咧將會了解個舊區咧，就會了解得更多，就唔會有斷層。
我哋希望其實呢個項目繼續開展落去咧，仍然會有其他嘅範疇我哋會掂得到嘅，例如係點樣去釋放土地用途啦，例如我哋點樣透過呢個藝術可以令到個社區啲持份者可以參與，同我哋一齊做一個參與式嘅規劃啦，甚至係將來有一啲未來嘅交通工具啦，令到我哋嘅城市更新嘅項目入邊咧，其實有啲新嘅模式同埋手法，唔單止係用一種上而下規劃嘅手段。其實好多我哋文化傳統集體回憶嘅一啲好有價值嘅一啲元素啦，同埋個社區好多點樣令到尤其是係地面啊嚇，更多更有趣、更繁盛嘅一啲即係商業活動可以走到出嚟啊，譬如啲小商鋪啊等等咧，咁我哋都通過後巷希望可以活化得到嘅。
諗過自己嗰個 project 係可以發展到係一個 design event 啊，其實就 open end 嘅，咁用咗電車嚟做流動嘅舞台，咁呢個其中一個電車可以做到嘅空間啦。咁另外就係因為唔想去影響到佢電車本身嘅交通，所以咧我其實喺我自己嗰個 project 度咧，其實就suggest 咗另外一個 secondary 嘅 network， 即係一個系統啦。咁等到佢啲電車其實係唔會阻到佢本身嘅交通嘅。咁不過4年之後 Detour 其實我哋就係正正想走入去大家嘅生活裡面啊嘛，所以其實就係用咗電車線部分電車嘅底盤啦，再去做一啲新嘅電車出嚟。咁但係又同一個時間都係去挑戰緊一個電車裡面一個咁細嘅空間啦，亦都係做緊啲同城市有關嘅活動咯。
其實呢個咁樣嘅主意咧，初時咧都係比較係簡單嘅啫，即係就主要係交通啦，同埋創造啲市區嘅空間啦，多啲綠化啦，潔淨嘅空氣啦咁樣。但係慢慢咧就將呢個主意咧就同大學裏邊啲同事啊，同埋啲同學啊傾開嚟咧，就其實個人咧都有好多咧好有用、好寶貴嘅意見咧，係提咗出嚟。咁呢啲意見咧，其實咧就集合成而家我哋呢一個綠化平台嘅一個構思。紅磡海底隧道嘅收費廣場咧，就每日都好多架車咧係經過。而家嗰幾條天橋咧就真係好殘舊，同埋亦都個負荷都唔夠啦。而冇法子可以承受得而家嗰個交通量，同埋好長時間咧，嗰啲車咧都要開住個引擎，咁就噴咗好多廢氣出嚟。咁呢啲都係好唔健康嘅空氣。咁呢啲咁多理念加埋咧，我哋就覺得咧，其實咧就我哋理大有一個行人嘅平台，對面嗰個紅磡站上邊咧，亦都有一個廣場。如果可以將呢兩個廣場連埋一齊，起一個架空嘅綠化平台咧，就可以一來將所有嗰啲廢氣咧冚唪唥都收晒，同埋將佢清潔好。個平台上邊咧，我嚟做綠化咧，亦都係使到咧住喺紅磡附近嘅人啦，同埋我哋啲同學啊、先生啊咁啦，可以享受到一個好好嘅一個市區嘅綠化嘅空間。咁我哋咧亦都多啲咁多咧空間嚟到活動啊，係代替咗而家嗰兩條天橋。所以我哋覺得咧呢個係一個非常有價值，亦都係即係好富創意啦，一個咁樣嘅社區嘅工程。所以我哋都對佢係即係寄予好大嘅期望啦。
Launchpad 其實係一個撮合學生同品牌嘅網上平台啦。咁一邊學生可以透過同啲品牌合作，攞到一啲資源或者一啲贊助去做到佢哋想做嘅活動啊或者 project 咁樣啦。咁另外一邊就係啲品牌可以透過同啲學生合作，去喺校園入邊去推廣佢哋嘅產品啊，或者係一啲職位啊等等咁樣咯。我諗我哋最主要係想同啲設計師有啲交流啦，咁同埋去睇下點樣可以喺用戶體驗上面啊，可以做得好啲啦。咁因為畢竟我哋係一個網站啦，咁所以差唔多所有嘅流程啊，都會喺個網站度做嘅。咁如果個網站嘅設計唔係做得最好嘅話，咁對學生對品牌其實都會即係會帶到啲困難俾佢哋咯。
10日好企理，其實我哋上年都有參加過10日好企理，咁其實個 feedback 好好，因為我哋當初其實雖然話聰明茶座明年係第20年嘅歷史啦，但係其實個品牌個效應啊，或者係嗰個成效咧，其實都未係好出得到嚟。咁我哋上年第一年參加啦，咁提供咗一個好嘅意見俾我哋，就話叫我哋好嘅定清楚自己個定位嗰個方向。咁喺過往一年上高，我哋就重新就呢個方向去諗啦。咁今年好好地就係你哋再會加設埋 design 呢個部分啦，令到我諗係一個好嘅機會，令到我哋重新係由頭到尾去包裝過我哋成個社企嗰個形象啦。坦白講，我哋冇諗揾設計公司啦，即係咁作為一個 NGO 嘅社企，我哋好多時就諗揾一啲 intern 嘅同學去幫手啊，或者其他會用呢個方向咯。因為對於設計呢個概念，我哋係完全係冇呢個 professional，唔係 out of 我哋嗰個部分嚟。
其實設計咧就係我哋話你透過設計去解決一啲問題。咁點解會 set up 一個社企咧？即係好可能咧，就係話個 founders 或者係呢班即係志同道合嘅人咧，就梗係睇到有啲社會嘅問題，而係可以用設計思維去解決。
咁所以我哋幫佢做嘅設計咧，目的亦都係希望幫佢哋揾到個定位，然之後揾到佢哋自己市場獨特嘅一個價值，即係亦都係想幫佢哋 maximize 佢哋，即係將佢哋嗰個收入最大化，因為佢有個資源，捉到啲資源入嚟咧，咁佢先至可以繼續營運，成個項目先可以保持到落去。咁所以係對於我嚟講，社企嘅設計服務或者佢性質係同商業機構冇乜分別，唯一一個分別就係商業機構佢會多啲資源，咁你啲慈善機構或者社企嘅話，佢資源要少啲，咁就更加考驗你個設計師嗰個對成個項目嘅把握，同埋你對溝通嗰個能力咯。係啊，個要求就會更加高。
嗱，我好中意設計個字啦，因為設計呢個字咧，其實可以包羅萬有嘅。一般人就可能諗住產品設計啊、形象設計啊，或者服務設計嗰啲咁嘅嘢啦，嗰啲都係重要。不過咧喺社企嚟講咧，就係你設計嗰個生意模式啊，所謂 business model 呢方面嘅設計咧最重要，創意又係十分之重要。如果一個人諗唔到一個有創新嘅念頭咧，我建議佢唔好考慮做社企。如果你諗做社企咧，你諗下，你推出嚟嘅嘢咧係呢個世界上未人有嘅，起碼香港未有嘅要。然之後你試運用設計創意，令呢樣嘢發生。
香港嘅社企其實都係呢10年8年先至開始出現，同埋喺量方面有所增加，但係成功嘅可以持續發展嘅其實係唔多嘅咁所以係好需要學術機構入邊嘅有心人去關注去支持實實際際去做一啲嘢去輔助社企嘅成長。香港將來先至會多啲希望。
今次同 UDA 合作咧，其實都發現咗一樣嘢嘅，因為好多社企咧，其實佢哋咧喺即係頭先都講啦，資金唔係咁充裕啦，變相咧其實佢哋揾地方去做一啲即係可能長期嘅生意啊，其實係有困難嘅。咁好多時咧，佢哋都會即係可能同一啲地產商合作，可能落去有一啲位置可以俾佢哋做一個短期嘅一啲租約。咁變相咧，佢哋每一次咧都可能都花費咗好多錢、金錢同時間咧，佢每一次都去做一啲裝置去擺喺一個地方。咁我哋就喺度諗不如將呢啲咁嘅裝置會唔會變咗做一啲流動嘅裝置啦？其實喺長遠嚟講，佢哋又可以之後用翻。咁呢一個咧就係我哋發現其實係一個幾大嘅趨勢係。
咁我哋覺得第一件事我哋要營造一個好吸引嘅 image，因為我哋喺咁多次同社企合作嘅情況底下，我哋都發覺其實社企佢哋出產嘅嘢或者佢哋製造嘅嘢其實好有品質嘅，但係可能就係 喺啲包裝上面啊，或者喺啲 marketing 上面有時就會未係好識去運用去點樣吸引人咯。咁我哋就會好注重喺呢個方面去着手做設計。
其實喺大學裏邊咧做呢啲工作咧，其實有一個好大嘅特點咧，就係話其實同學們咧個個都好包容啊。對於我哋嗰啲殘疾人士，相對嚟講咧就喺出面外間咧個包容性冇咁高嘅。咁譬如好簡單，你都知我哋啲同事，咁佢哋其實老實講喺嗰個能力嚟講，未必一定係能夠同一啲普通人去比較。咁但係喺大學裏邊嘅同學咧，其實都好能夠遷就，好能夠體諒到佢哋嘅。咁所以對於我哋做呢個工作嘅時候，將佢哋慢慢去訓練啊，訓練咗之後，希望佢哋能夠出到個社會，融入到呢個社會，係一個好重要嘅一步咯。咁同埋一樣嘢就係話，喺呢一個校園環境裏邊咧，亦都可以做一個示範嘅作用，俾外間社會人士睇一睇，哦，原來我哋呢班同事都有嘅能力去做得到呢一樣嘢㗎。不過只係需要多少少時間去俾佢哋適應同埋俾佢哋學習咁樣咯。
我諗喺學校裏邊可以真係做一啲 project。真係同社企一齊嘅，真係一個 real 真係真實嘅個案。咁變咗咧，無論喺學校定係第日畢業咗之後，都係其實真係去解決問題咯，就唔係話喺學校只係做個功課。
理大賽馬會社會創新設計院咧，除咗一方面我哋做緊好多真係落區嘅社會創新項目啦，當然亦都同好多唔同嘅機構，例如係政府、非政府機構、地區組織、公共服務機構等等合作啦。其實我哋亦都會邀請大家入嚟我哋理大嘅校園。每年其實我哋會搞一個叫做10日節嘅，咁啊邀請大家嚟呢個賽馬會嘅創新樓。咁我哋會做一連串嘅活動啦，例如係講座啦、論壇啦、工作坊啦、電影嘅放映會啦，當然亦都有展覽啦。咁希望大家可以嚟到咧，認識更加多什麼是社會創新。咁除此以外咧，我哋其實亦都做緊一個網上嘅平台叫做 Socia 啦，基本上就係希望翻譯一啲世界各地有趣、行得先進嘅社會創新嘅例子，將佢翻譯成為中文，令到大中華地區嘅朋友咧可以多啲認識世界各地而家有好多好好玩，其實亦都做得好有意義嘅社會創新項目。